Welcome back. More Biden-era corruption declassified. The CIA director announcing the release of new documents showing Joe Biden sought to suppress a 2015 intelligence memo showing Ukraine's government had concerns over his ties to Burisma. Emails and texts show Biden's office intervened to stop the distribution of a memo. Ukraine officials expressing bewilderment and disappointment over Biden's visit and his lack of substantive engagement during a 2015 trip to Kiev. Biden didn't want to meet. Instead, he just demanded the prosecutor investigating the company that was paying his son $1 million a year be fired. Ukrainian government officials viewed the ties between the U.S. vice president's family and Burisma as evidence of a double standard, as Biden would talk so tough about corruption in Ukraine. Biden suppressed all of that for very obvious reasons, and then all of that was suppressed to push him into the White House in 2020. And Congressman James Comer joins us now. And then to end it all, they give Hunter this retroactive pardon 10 years back. And could there be a more corrupt family in Washington?
No. Not only is the Biden family corrupt, the government's corrupt. This was a huge cover-up. The cover-up may be worse than the crime. Thank goodness for John Radcliffe. Thank goodness that he's finally put the truth out there so the American people can see. This is exactly what Jim Jordan and I had been saying all during the Biden administration when we were investigating the family for their corrupt, it's not even business practices, for their corrupt practice of taking payments from our enemies around the world. And just think about it, Rob. They impeached Donald Trump. The Democrats impeached Donald Trump just for asking if this took place. When he was president. And it did take place. And there was nothing wrong with that phone call. We've all heard the recording. It was a perfectly fine phone call. He's doing what I want every president to do. Try to root out waste, fraud, abuse, and mismanagement in the federal government. Shame on the CIA for covering this up. Thank you, John Radcliffe. Now let's get some accountability.
Yeah, well said. Want to get to a couple other things here with you. You're a Kentucky congressman, very rural in your area. The tariff fight has hit farmers pretty hard, many feeling the wrath of countries like China refusing to buy soy, other products like that. The president eyeing a possible bailout, maybe $10 billion or more to aid farmers, using some of that tariff revenue to kind of get them through this fight as we try to set up these tariffs. Majority of that goes towards farmers, to soybean producers. How important is this?
Well, it's very important. Look, the soybean farmers aren't to blame in this. They planted that crop assuming that those foreign markets were going to be there. China is the biggest importer of American soybeans. They import anywhere from 25 to 35% of the American soybean crop every year. And they haven't bought a single soybean this year. So I think we need to do something to help the soybean farmers, and I appreciate President Trump for looking out for their best interest, and let's try to come up with a solution to this problem.
Want to follow up on something I've been covering with you now for a while. The farmers in your state along the Ohio River and in other states as well have gotten hammered this year. You've had record-breaking floods exacerbated by this government-installed and government-built Olmsted Dam. You were on this program back in April when this happened, talking about how previous administrations never settled disaster claims with all of these farmers who have been decimated by this dam. The farmers kind of getting abused by the government on this. Is there any update on this from the Trump White House?
Well, we keep hearing there's movement. There's a judgment fund in the federal government for things like this. And this is a situation where, for no fault of their own, the farmers' lands were flooded. They were flooded by the Corps of Engineers. They made a decision to flood these lands to control the water levels downstream. And it came at a significant cost. Not only did the farmers lose the crops, which they had insurance for, but it created a lot of damage to their farms. It eroded a massive amount of topsoil, which you can't replace. So these farmers had damage, and I feel like it's the government's responsibility to make them whole, because this was a government decision. They didn't consult with the farmers. They just did it. So hopefully we'll get some movement, and I strongly encourage the administration to do something about it.
Hearing some movement. All right. Well, that's good to hear. We're going to stay on that story. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rob.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt Tonight on Newsmax.